It started with a creak. Just a simple, everyday creak. Nothing out of the ordinary. You hear those all the time in old houses, right? Wood settling, pipes expanding. But this one was different. It was mid-January, the kind of freezing cold that makes the air in your lungs feel sharp. I had just moved into this place, a quaint, aging colonial on the outskirts of town. It looked fine from the outside. White trim, ivy-wrapped porch, an old chimney that hadn't seen smoke in years. I bought it cheap, suspiciously cheap, but I was in no place to be picky. Life hadn't exactly been generous. Lately job loss, a breakup, the death of my father. This place felt like a reset button, a chance to start over. Alone. So when I heard that creak, I chalked it up to the house introducing itself. But it came again, and again. Always in the same spot, right by the base of the stairs. At first I ignored it. Honestly, I had bigger things to worry about. I was juggling unpacked boxes, fixing leaky faucets, trying to make the place feel like mine. But every night, around 11:30, that damn floorboard creaked. Eventually, I started stepping over it. Literally. I'd walk around it like some absurd nightly ritual. And yet, somehow, it would still groan when I passed. Like it was reacting to me. Not to wait. To me, curiosity got the better of me. One evening, I got down on my knees, pried the board up, expecting to find maybe a dead mouse, or some cracked support beam. But what I saw, it wasn't rot, it wasn't piping. It was a handle. Metal, worn, covered in what looked like wax drippings and a thick layer of dust. A handle leading down. There is no basement on the blueprints, no mention in the paperwork, but here it was. A square wooden panel, with a handle that felt warm to the touch, despite the freezing air. I should have stopped right there. I should have nailed the floorboard back down and walked away. But I didn't. I remember the moment I lifted it. The door didn't just open. It released like it was exhaling for the first time in years. A faint, musty breeze brushed past me like old breath from something buried alive. There was a wooden staircase underneath, steep and narrow, vanishing into thick darkness. The air was wrong. Still, yet heavy, cold, yet damp. Like the kind of air you only find in tombs. I went back upstairs, grabbed a flashlight, and stood there for a while, just staring down, listening. It was dead silent. But that silence had a texture. You know what I mean. It felt like it was listening back. I finally descended, slowly, carefully, the old wood groaning beneath each step. The flashlight barely cut through the dust particles swirling in the air. It smelled like mildew, copper, and something else like burnt oil. At the bottom was a narrow corridor. Stone walls, dirt floor. No wires, no lights, no pipes, just a hallway that curved to the right. Vanishing from sight, and near the bend was a door. Not like the one above. This one was massive. Iron-bound wood, at least 7 feet tall, with no knob, just a vertical slit, like a mail slot. And it radiated cold. The air got colder, the closer I moved. My flashlight flickered. The walls felt slightly damp. And that silence, it deepened, thickened. I reached out, placed my hand against the surface, and felt vibration. Not movement, not sound. Just a slow, steady pulse. Like the door itself was breathing. I didn't open it. Not that night. But I knew I had found something I was never meant to find. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in bed with a flashlight beside me. The taste of iron still in my mouth. My mind replaying every detail of what I'd seen. I kept thinking, how could something like that exist without anyone knowing? The next day, I tried to do research. I called the county records office, looked up blueprints, historical archives. Nothing. My property wasn't listed as having a basement. No underground structures. No renovations. Just blank. But that door haunted me. The way it felt. The way the air shifted around it. So I went back down. I told myself I'd just look. Maybe knock. Maybe try to understand what it was. Nothing more. I brought more light. This time, a heavy-duty lantern, a camera, my phone. The stone hallway looked older the more I examined it, far older than the house above. The walls were crudely chiseled. At one point, I noticed a marking carved near the bend, a circle, with 4 vertical slashes through it. I reached the door again. Still no knob, just the slit. So I leaned close, pressed my eye to the narrow opening. And what I saw, it was a room. Empty, mostly. But in the center was a stone pedestal. Something sat on it, covered in cloth. Surrounding the pedestal were things, shapes I couldn't tell what they were. only that they weren't moving. Until they did. Something shifted. Something stood up. I stumbled back, flashlight shaking, my heart pounding. Whatever was in there saw me too. The next time I returned, I brought tools. I had to know. I couldn't stop thinking about it, what I'd seen through the slit. That thing standing, waiting, was it real? My imagination. I brought a crowbar, a hammer, a pry tool, and I forced the door open. The sound it made echoed like a scream muffled underwater. My ears rang. My skin went cold. Inside was not what I expected. The room was geometrically impossible. There were no corners. None. Every wall curved subtly into the next. The ceiling wasn't flat. It arched in ways that made depth hard to gauge. It felt off. Like being inside a sphere pretending to be a cube. I stepped inside. The floor was stone, but smooth and somehow warm. The pedestal was real. The cloth was old, velvet-like, and covered in black dust. And those shapes I'd seen, they were statues. Human-sized, faceless. Each one carved from dark stone, standing in poses of agony. One was kneeling, its hands covering where its eyes should be. Another leaned against a wall, as if trying to push through it. The walls were covered in writing, but not words. Symbols, curved lines, marks that seemed to swim if you looked too long. I took a picture with my phone. It came out distorted, blurry, and unreadable. And then I heard it, a whisper, from inside the room. A single word. Leave. I tried to stay away. I really did. But once you see something like that, once you feel like it doesn't let you go, it followed me. The whispers started that night. Faint at first, like wind brushing through leaves. Then clearer. My name, always at the edge of hearing. The walls began to echo with noises. Scraping, breathing, whispering. One night, I heard footsteps above me on the attic floor. I went up. It was empty. Then it got worse. I'd wake up to find furniture moved. Drawers open. Lights flickering even though the bulbs were new. One morning I found my bedroom. Mirror covered in condensation, as if someone had breathed on it, and the words, "You opened." It smeared in the fog. I tried to tell myself I was imagining it, sleep deprived, losing it. But I wasn't alone in that house anymore. And whatever had been behind that door wasn't just behind it anymore. It was desperation that made me pull up the rest of the floorboards. I had to know more. There had to be something to explain what was happening. So I tore into the floor like a madman, ripping up boards until I found what I didn't know I was looking for. It was hidden beneath a loose stone tile embedded into the foundation. Beneath the stairs, nearly fused into place with age and grime. I pried it up, and underneath was a gap. And inside that, a journal, old, leather-bound, nearly rotted through. I didn't recognize the name on the inside cover. J. Halberd, 1903. The entries were scattered, paranoid, and increasingly disturbed. I heard the breathing again. I know it's behind the door. I sealed it, and still it calls to me. The symbols do not translate. They burn the page when I tried to copy them. I thought I saw Father last night, but he's been dead 10 years. One entry stopped me cold. If you found this, stop. Don't open it. Don't go in. It watches. It waits. And once you hear it, it never stops. The writing became unintelligible near the end. Just frantic, jagged scrolls spiraling across the paper. Like the author had lost their mind or was trying to trap something in the ink. I read every word, every warning. And still, I went back. Because once the door opens, even if you close it, the curiosity stays open. By now, I was barely sleeping. When I did, I'd wake to find myself sitting up in bed, as if pulled awake by invisible strings. My dreams were vivid, suffocating. Endless corridors. Stone figures whispering in a language I didn't understand. A presence just behind me. Always just behind. Then the reflections started acting strange. Mirrors no longer matched my movements. I'd blink and my reflection wouldn't. I'd turn and catch a glimpse of something. Tall and still just at the edge of the frame. And the eyes, I began to feel them everywhere. Watching, observing, studying me. One night, I caught sight of something in the hallway. Mirror just for a moment. It wasn't me. It wasn't anyone. It was tall, hollow-faced. Its head tilted unnaturally far to one side. And when I turned around, the hallway was empty. But the mirror, it still showed it. After that, I covered every reflective surface in the house. Glass, screens, polished metal, anything that could hold a reflection. It didn't matter. I still felt watched. And when I tried to leave the house to sleep elsewhere, Was like the house didn't let me. Every attempt, something went wrong. Tires slashed, engine dead, doors stuck, phone mysteriously cracked. I wasn't just living in the house anymore. The house was living in me. It was the first time I saw it up close. I woke up, paralyzed. Eyes wide, muscles frozen. I'd had sleep paralysis before, but this was different. Something was in the room. I couldn't move my head, but I could feel it standing beside the bed, breathing, wet, rattling, wrong. Then I saw the edge of its form, a tall, shadowy figure, impossibly thin, like a man stretched through smoke. Its fingers were too long. Its arms hung too low. And its face, I couldn't see its face, but I knew it had one. I felt it smiling. It leaned in, inches from me. I could feel the pressure of its stare behind my eyes. Then, it whispered right into my skull. You brought me here. And just like that, I could move again. I bolted upright, gasping, drenched in sweat. The room was empty, but the air still felt occupied. I stopped sleeping after that. Coffee, pills, anything to stay awake. Because if that was sleep paralysis, it was the kind that followed you when you woke up. It got bolder. During the day, I'd catch glimpses in reflective surfaces, quick, darting shadows mimicking my movements just a beat too late. But then it stopped hiding. One morning, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror, brushing my teeth, when I saw myself staring back, not moving, not blinking, just watching. Then it smiled, and I didn't. I threw a towel over the mirror and ran. Things began warping. Sounds echoed in impossible ways. My voice would sound delayed or duplicated. Light wouldn't behave. I'd flick a switch and the bulb would take 10 seconds to illuminate, or stay lit long after I turned it off. I realized then this thing, whatever it was, wasn't just in the basement. It wasn't just in the mirrors, it was in me. It had latched on when I opened that door, leaked out, like ink in water. And now, it wanted more. It wanted out fully. I tried to destroy the room. I went down with a sledgehammer, a gas can, matches. But the room didn't burn. The fire went out. The stone didn't even warm. And the statues, one of them had changed. Its pose shifted. Its hands now covered its mouth instead of its eyes. I was running out of time. I did what I should have done from the start. I sealed the door. Wood, nails, chains, concrete. I covered it, buried it, replaced the floorboards, scrubbed the house clean, removed every mirror, every screen, every reflective surface. I left the journal in the fire. I didn't even watch it burn. I didn't want to risk seeing anything. In the smoke, for a while, things felt normal again. I slept. No whispers, no breathing, no reflections staring back. But some nights late at night I hear the creak again, the one by the stairs. Just once. Soft, like a footstep. I tell myself it's nothing. Old houses creak. But then I remember what the journal said. Some doors once opened, never truly close. So if you ever move into a new house and hear something under your floorboards, don't open it. Don't be curious. Because some things don't want to be found. And some doors are meant to stay shut.